people from where you come from, because we know you are attending to the 6th Governors Forum, and people wanted to know exactly when you're coming from administrative area, how did you leave people around there? When you were coming from Warrap, how are people from Warrap? When you were coming from Unity State, how are people there? So, Honorable Governor from Unity, let us know a little bit about you and your well-being of the people around.
Thank you so much, SSBC, for this great opportunity that you have availed to us as the governors of Unity State, Warrap, and the administrator of Abyei. I'm Joseph Monytuil Wejang, the governor of Unity State. As you might have heard that Unity State has been stricken by flood for the last 2 years, and the situation there is very dire. People are really suffering with this flooding. Of course, flood has posed a lot of issues and challenges to the displaced people and even to the government of the state. 90% of the population are displaced. Most of them came to the capital city of the state. Some of them went to neighboring states like Lakes and even Abyei administrative area and Warrap state as well. So this is the situation that my people have been going through, caused by this devastating flood. Flood, you know, is one of the natural disasters.
We will talk about that, Honorable Governor. Thank you so much. What I wanted just is the well-being of your people, whether they are okay, feeling good after you left them or not. Coming to Honorable Governor of Warrap State, Honorable Manhiem, we know you just assumed the office of recent, but doesn't mean that you have never been to Warrap, and doesn't mean you don't know the well-being of the people of Warrap. Let us know a little bit about who you are, what people should know about you that I have not mentioned, and the people of Warrap well-being.
Thank you, SSBC, for the opportunity, for inviting us to know about us and about our areas. I am Manhiem Malek. I am the new governor of Warrap State. Since I was appointed, up to date, I only have 5 to 6 days in the office. And immediately I had to attend the governors' forums. So I did not get any opportunity to go to my place, to report to my place so that I can also meet with my people. However, I am in touch with them through communication, phone communication. So my people are there, and Warrap has been in terrible situation in terms of internal conflict within themselves and with our neighboring communities. That is between Twitch community and Abyei, and that is Ngob Dinka. They've been having internal problem like any other community. The same thing also in Greater Tonj. Greater Tonj has been also in a problem by themselves. There are people there who cause havoc, some criminals within the pockets of the communities. Some people raided, steal cattle, and so on. So this also triggered the conflict internally. So this is the situation. And again, they are also underwater because the same flood that is affecting a Unity State, as my colleague just mentioned, is also affecting a bigger part of Warrap State.
Thank you so much, Honorable Governor. We'll come back to you. And let's now cross to Abyei, where we are honored to have Honorable Kuol, the Chief Administrator of Abyei Administrative Area. Let us know a little bit about who you are, in case if I've not mentioned part of the introduction to well, and the well-being of people of Abyei. How are they right now as you are attending to the 6th Governors Forum in Juba?
First of all, hello viewers of South Sudan SSBC. My name is Kuol. I'm the Chief Administrator of Abyei Special Administrative Area. I arrived Juba last Saturday, the 19th, 19th of November, after being away from Juba for 8 months. 8 months I have been in the Abyei area, encouraging our people to cultivate, standing on their side at the time of the difficulties. And as I left the area, in terms of physical security, the area is calm. The last attack to Agog town was on the 10th of October. But thanks to the government in Juba, they immediately sent in forces from Tiger Division. They were sent to Abyei area. They started arriving the same day of the attack. And since then, they have never been attacked to Agog due to the work of these forces that were sent from Juba to Abyei. What remains is theft. Theft. You see, there are gangsters that come and remove the windows and doors from the houses in Agog. There are those who come and remove, they steal beddings in the rooms. Sometimes they take solars. But this is a minor criminality. So generally speaking, the physical security situation is normal. What I left alarming is flooding. The area is flooded this year. All the rivers are flooding. River Nyamora, River Kir, and our people suffered double displacement. First displacement was from war. The second displacement was from the flooding. But thanks to NGOs that are trying to help our people, you have the IOM, you have World Food Program, you have even MSF Switzerland. They are doing their level best to support the people in the area.
Thank you so much, Honorable. And thank you so much, dear viewers, for following these live editions of the Governor's Discussion right here on SSBC. We are coming to you live in our studio from South Sudan capital, Juba, and we are discussing the issues of peace and security, economic reform, and climate change, not forgetting governance and rule of law. And joining me in this discussion is Honorable Dr. Joseph Monytuil, Wejang, the Governor of Unity State, and Honorable Malek, the Governor of Warrap State, and not forgetting Honorable Diem, the Chief Administrator of Abyei Administrative Area. What they have just highlighted was the well-being of the people of the respective areas that they're ruling, and right now we are going to go into our business of why we are here. And thank you once again for making it to SSBC. And to begin with, we want to talk a little bit about peace and security issues, and we are going to look at the security matters from your respective state and administrative areas that you are ruling. And at this time, I want to take to Dr. Joseph Monytuil to tell us about the security situation in Unity State, that we have had numerous reports being reported in Unity State. There has been a lot of incidences of either insecurity and rebellion at the same time reported within Unity State. So currently, as we make it to the 6th Governors Forum, how is security in Unity State?
Yeah, thank you once more again. As we speak now, security situation in Unity State is calm, apart from those incidents that happened last 2 months. The security right now is normal, and we managed to arrest the hot spots that were there, and we conducted a kind of communal dialogues and reconciliation, like what happened in southern part of my state, 3 counties. They conducted a peace and reconciliation conferences in their respective capital cities of the counties, Lair, Mayendit, and Coach, and we managed to bring people back to normal, and people are now moving freely. Coming to the issue of the rebellion that happened and that has led into the killing of our beloved commissioner, that was very unfortunate. But with the help of SSPDF, we managed to clear the area of Mayom from any element of rebellions. So now the situation also is under control 100%. So these are the things that happened in the last 2 months. Otherwise, we are okay as we speak now.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Governor. And we know, Honorable Manhiem, you are new in the office, but this does not tell also you don't have information about the security situation in Warrap. And you did mention very earlier that you are getting in contact with the people from your state through phones, communications, and maybe if you can have a highlight of what you know about what is happening in Warrap in regard to security situation there.
Well, there has been a small vacuum when the former governor, Abyei, was relieved and I took over. Then people want to take advantage because I did not go there. So for the last 2 days, there are activities of insecurity between 2 sections within Wejang at the far east of Toin, and within also some part of Toin South. So there was a little fight between the 2 sections of Wejang, whereby we lost 5 people and 19 people were injured. But that situation was arrested. I tried to communicate with the chief and Payam administrators and the commissioner to come in as soon as possible and control the situation. Then on the side of Abyei, Twitch, of course, as my colleague, Honorable Kuol, just mentioned, calm is there, though tension is still there because after the arrival of the army, no attack has taken place, but that does not tell that that peace is there. I think they are just waiting to see what next, but there is a lot of tension between Dinka Ngok and Twitch due to land issue, land conflict.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Kuol, and we cannot leave you out from this. So what can you say about Abyei administrative areas in regard to the security situation?
First of all, the security is a broad concept. These days people talk of human security. So let me start with by physical security. Physical security, as I mentioned earlier, is relatively calm. From the direction of the north, that is the border with Western Kordofan, the Arab nomads have not yet entered into the Abyei box. So what is there now is criminality. There are some robbers who try and rob the vehicles that are moving from Amiat market to Abyei. But thanks to UNISFA, UNISFA is collaborating, is working together with our CPC, that is Community Protection Committees. So in terms of security in the north, physical security in the north is okay. Going to the south, as I mentioned, the conflict between Tuch and Ngog is a very unfortunate conflict. There was no need for it completely because these are one people. Ngog and Tuch are one people, but the conflict is due to, most of it is a creation by the politicians from Juba here. I can give you reasons later on. But the real root causes of this conflict is Juba here. You are the one who instigated normal people. In Dinka, land disputes are resolved by dialogue in Dinka culture.
Can you say it why the Juba is contributing to that conflict?
There were some politicians, members of parliament.
By what, or by money or resources?
They were instigating the youth, the youth that Ngok Dinka people should move to the north of the River Kir, and that the south of River Kir is belongs to Twitch. So this is what instigated. But in the south, as I left the area was relatively calm.
Honorable, before you continue, I read the resolutions of the committee which was sent by the president to Abyei administrative area, and out of the resolution, you were also accused.
Welcome. I'm available. I can be taken to court if I'm accused, and justice will come one day. What is there is that as I left the area was calm. Forces were sent by the general headquarters in Juba. They managed to secure the Agog town. But as I have also mentioned, there was some criminality, breaking of doors at night, breaking of windows, taking away the solars, taking away the beddings of the people who are displaced. But generally speaking, there was no killing. Going to the other aspects of security, road security. Roads in the area are completely affected by the flooding. So roads were very bad. Roads to Warrap were not passable. Also, road to Awils were not passable. Roads even to Western Kordofan were not passable. They were using tractors for bringing goods to Amiata market. The other important aspects of security that I want to talk to you about is flooding. Flooding have really affected so many areas in Abyei
Honorable
area.
Diem, it will be like interrupting you. Thank you so much. We'll tackle the issue of floodings when we come to the issues of climate change. And thank you so much for talking about security.
It is an aspect of security also.
We understand that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm coming back to you shortly. And let me cross over to the Governor of Unity State, Honorable Dr. Jose Monytuil. There has been similar reports and incidences of internal conflicts in your state. And you're attending to the 6th Governors Forum. How is this forum going to address this, and also you as the governor?
Well, thank you so much again. You know, sometimes in our situation that we are a post-conflict country, and we are in the process of implementation of peace agreement that has many parties to that agreement. A lot of issues could happen in the process of implementation. But since we have the political will that as human beings things might happen, but we have the ability of resolving them. And I think with this 6th Governors Forum, we will be ironing out a lot of issues that are related to the parties to the agreement, because agreement is a document that all parties are legally binded to, and we are supposed to abide by the provision of the agreement. What happened, or what has been happening, especially in the southern part of my state, I made it clear to the people at different fora, in Council of State the other time when I went there, and to the leadership of the country. The involvement of the army in the administrative issues, army that came in as a result of this agreement, and there's no clear boundaries between the civil administration and the army that should be distant from the work of the administrative. And all in all, we brought this to the notice of the leadership, and I'm hoping that we will be coming out of this forum with a clear vision and with a clear roadmap, like the theme of the forum is the acceleration of the implementation of peace agreement according to the roadmap of 2022.
Honorable, yes. People of South Sudan and your states are watching at you, and there will be like internal conflict is not part of the agreement. Internal conflict is not part of the agreement. And why is agreement the issue that is going to address this? Does agreement say that you involve yourself in conflict and then we will come and solve it? Or do you, as the leaders in the state, have a role to play even if the agreement is not there? Because if you look back to 2012, 2017, when there is no conflict, people were a little bit living in peace. But right now, everything is put on agreement, even something that they will think that it is not part of the agreement.
Well, you really need to know why I said this. Because with this agreement, we have a lot of army that are not under one command. We are having different commands. And to manage such a situation is not that easy. Most of the conflict that happen here and there are some factions that came as a result of this agreement are involved in those conflicts. So we need to be clear. Before the agreement, when there was only one army, the SSPDF, such a thing could not happen. But when you have different commands, different army from different background, from different military doctrines, definitely will be facing such an incident that are happening. There's no conflict that happened from blue. No. The communities were living peacefully before this agreement or before anything could happen.
So the agreement is conflict itself?
The agreement has caused a lot of issues as well, because the security arrangement was not addressed as it should have been addressed.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll come back to you. And let's move to Honorable Manhiem Malek, the governor of Warrap State. Given your times in the office as the new governor, we believe that when you are appointed and sworn in by the president, you went back to your house and think, now what are you going to do to your people of Warrap State? Given the internal conflict, the issues that are arising within Warrap State and the neighbors. So let the people of South Sudan know from you, what are your plans that you're going to address these matters in your state?
First of all, the conflict in Warrap State is not new to me, because some years back I was a deputy governor, and I was handling all these issues when I was there with the former governor, Malek. So, as I said, the causes of conflicts ranges from cattle raiding, cattle thefts, girl-related issues, and so on. So, plus land disputes. These are the areas that cause problem within the communities. So it is not something new. And when I was sworn in, immediately I thought of moving down there to talk to the chief, because I'm going for peace. I'm not going for any problem with them. I'm going for peace, and I had wanted to begin with the intellectuals, or with the sons and daughters of Warrap that are present here in Juba before I leave, because I wasn't aware of this governors forum. So my plan was that after I went home, after the swearing in, I went home, And I thought of calling, because I'm aware of the conflict in Warrap state. So I said, let me invite all the intellectuals, the sons and daughters of Warrap, including our brothers and sisters from Abyei, because we are one community, to listen to them, not to lecture them, but to ask them of what is happening there. And what can they tell me as a governor who is the implementer, because I'm going to implement. And I don't want anybody, when I go down there, then pick up the phone and talk differently. So that was my first plan. And I'm going to do it before I leave. I need to call what I call consultative meeting with the communities of Warrap State and Abyei, so that I share the situation with them, because I'm on daily basis in contact with the people in Warrap State. So when I meet them, they will be able to tell me what to do. Though I know what to do, but some of them, as General Kuol said, some people within Juba sometimes interfere with the state community. So I wanted to call them as the first plan, talk to them, give me mandate, so that when I get a criminal or somebody who wanted to violate or cause a problem, I'll have to take care of it lawfully. And I don't want anybody here to say, President Kiir, the new governor is now causing problems. This is what they do. When we are appointed and we go to the state, conflict is started. And when the conflict is started and you want to address the conflict, immediately some people go to the presidency and say, the new governor now is trying to kill people and all this, like what Rinpeng was doing, trying to calm down the situation. And when you want to calm down the situation, of course, you will use, sometimes use force, because they are armed. Okay, if you want to stop or you want to arrest somebody who is armed, you must also use force.
Honorable Governor,
so, yeah.
Someone will be asking, when you were serving as the deputy governor,
Right.
what were you not able to do that you will go and do right now as the governor?
I was under a shade of someone, and now I'm in charge. I'm in charge, and I know when I take a decision, it will be a decision that I will be responsible for it. A decision that will be a collective decision with my cabinet, with my parliament, and with my community leaders and traditional chief. It is not going to be a decision that will be asked from someone. Okay, because I'm in charge. I'm the governor of the state, and when I was a deputy governor, I have to consult to take a decision, because governor is the one to authorize anything to happen.
Okay,
So,
thank you so much. Right now, let me cross to Honorable Diem, the Chief Administrator of Abyei Administrative Areas.
Welcome
and
again.
yeah, thank you so much. You know, talking Abyei Administrative Area is one of the administrative areas that also Sudanese are high on. They wanted to hear what is good thing coming out of Abyei, and this will tell also
That
how
Sudanese are what on?
South Sudanese are high on Abyei.
Eyeing on.
Yes.
Eyeing.
Yes. So we wanted to see exactly and hear what is happening in Abyei. And it will start with you, plus the people of Abyei. And now coming to South Sudanese. How are you addressing the security situations, and what can you say about your relationship with the neighbors? Maybe Warrap, let's cross over to Sudan, whereby you are neighboring, and South Sudan is neighboring. What can you say about the relationship?
Well, Abyei area, the settlement of the conflict in Abyei was clearly spelled out in Abyei Protocol of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement of 2005, a full protocol signed on the 26th of May 2004 was devoted on how to address the issue of how to solve the issue of Abyei. What is very unfortunate is that those of al-Bashir, former president of Sudan, did not honor the agreement on Abyei as well as on Nuba Mountains and Blue Nile. simply because the area is very rich. There is a lot of resources, oil, you have in terms of agriculture, is potentially very rich. The land is also very, very, very green always. And this, sometimes you see they say resources, instead of being blessing from God, can turn into curse. This is exactly what is happening in the Abyei area. The greedy people want to grab the resources in the Abyei area. As you said, we have the Mushiria and Khartoum. Khartoum is, their interest is oil. Musiria, they want to graze their cattle, but traditionally they used to graze peacefully, but they were politicized by Khartoum. It's politicized to fight for them. But what is there, our communities are in constant dialogue with them. And of reason came the conflict of Tuch. You see, in history, there have never been a dispute over land between Ngok Dinka and Tuch, so that you can refer to it that this is the dispute that has happened some years back. Never. It has never happened. This conflict is started of recent. It's this generation that this conflict came in. But it have no root completely in the past that our granddads have a struggle over. But what is there now? Our government of South Sudan is doing its level best so that this issue is amicably solved through dialogue. At the end you fight, but at the end you will sit on the table and solve these problems through dialogue. And there are prospects for solving this a small problem between brothers and sisters with their brothers in Ngok through dialogue.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Diem Kuol, the Chief Administrator of Abyei Administrative Area. And to our viewers, thank you so much for following these editions of the live special interview about the governors' forums, whereby we bring into our studio right here the governors from respective state that they are hosting. And here in these editions, I am joined by Honorable Dr. Joseph Monytuil Wejang, the governor of Unity State, and not forgetting Manhiem Malek, the governor of Warrap State, and Honorable Diem Kuol, the Chief Administrator of Abyei Administrative Area. We are talking about peace and security, economic reform and climate change, governance and rule of law, and we will touch also a little bit about the issues of education and health matters. After this far, let's have a break and we'll be right back shortly.
For the fight, Sukuran. Thank you for the gift of life, Sukuran. Your love will never die, Sukuran. Sukuran. Thank you for the gift of life, Sukuran. Right now I can see the light, Sukuran. Your word will never lie, Sukuran. Sukuran. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. What's up? Zamani, naskandi sukurita, idoro lekenisa. Kelta saidu bellele.
Welcome back, dear viewer. Thank you so much for following these editions of the Governors Forum, where we bring to our studio the governors and chief administrator. And to say it, we still have in the studio with us Honorable Dr. Joseph Monytuil Wejang, the governor of Unity State, and Honorable Manhiem Malek, the governor of Warrap State, not forgetting Diem, the chief administrator of Abyei administrative area. We're looking at the issues of security, governance, and peace and rule of law in their respective state and administrative area. They are governing and they're ruling in the country. And after this, let me say it, Honorable Governors and Chief Administrator, welcome back.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have exhausted a little bit, not much, on the issue of security in your areas. And right now we are going to cross over to the issue of economic reform. And without the economy, there is no life. People live because of the economy. And the people of South Sudan said, South Sudan is a blessed country with great leaders. You are the great leaders of this nation. And in which the common people who are suffering most of the time put blame on their leaders, who they said they are being blessed with. So sometimes they said the economy hardship is the contributions of the leaders in this country. And now I wanted you to spell out whether you agree that you as the governors and administrators in this studio right now, whether you're contributing to the economy hardship of South Sudan or not. And if not, what are you doing to eradicate anger in your respective state? And let me go and start with administrator. You know, with administrators, sometimes they're very straightforward. Let's know from you, Honorable Diem, whether you are contributing to the hardship of this country as chief administrator or not. And if not, what are you doing to eradicate hunger in your administrative area?
In fact, I'm not contributing in the suffering of our people in terms of hunger. Instead, we are doing our level best to empower them in terms so that they improve on their way of agriculture. You see, 90% of the people in the Abyei area, they are farmers mixed with the livestock keeping. They mix it together. You have a small farm, and you are also keeping a small cattle, goats, and sheep. So what we are doing now, we have introduced tractors. There are tractors. Our Ministry of Agriculture have got some tractors that are higher with the low prices to the farmers, so that they extend their farms. And also, there are partners organizations like FAO that are constantly vaccinating the cattle. But what is very unfortunate this year, there is a waterborne disease which is not yet clearly identified, which is killing cattle this year. But we have veterinary services, regular veterinary services to the people. So the other 10%, there are business, small business people are coming up. Business people are coming up in the markets. We have 3 markets, Agog market, Abyei market, and there is now a market in a place called Amiat, which is coming up, which is becoming an economic hub between South Sudan and Sudan. Small businesses also, there are organizations that are encouraging small businesses by giving them small loans. I left them recently. They are constructing shops, and these shops will be sold with the low prices to the traders, and this thanks to World Food Program. This is a project by World Food Program. And you see in terms of security, you see always July and August are the most difficult the most difficult period of hunger in Abyei area. We have solved this problem by buying a strategic reserve of sorghum. We store this strategic reserve, and then during July and August, we sell this sorghum to the people at lower prices, subsidized sorghum. We sell subsidized sorghum, and people really appreciated this. While a normal business, people will be selling a malwa. A malwa is 3.5 kilogram of sorghum, with something going to 2,000. Our administration sells sorghum to them with 800 pounds. So this is, in fact, is helping a lot in fighting hunger in the area.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And let me cross to Unity State, by Governor Dr. Joseph Monytuil. We'll also maybe talk about what you're doing to eradicate hunger in your state. And do you agree that with South Sudan, you would say the leaders of this country are the one contributing to the economic hardship, maybe if you are part of them or not?
Well, I would refute that leaders are not contributing to the suffering of the people. Leaders are always there for the support of the people that they are leading. In Unity State, of course, being a post-conflict country like South Sudan, and the areas that has been affected severely by the crisis, Unity State is, if not number one, is number two. Is severely affected by the crisis, and with the hope that we sign a peace deal with our brothers who rebel against the government. It was our hope that with this peace deal we'll be in a position to introduce our work plans, and how best we can alleviate the suffering of our people and reduce the poverty that has been there all along during the crisis. But unfortunately, again, we are stricken by the flooding. Our community is agro-pastoralist community. We have agriculture, and our people are also looking at after the livestock. But these two things, agriculture and the livestock, has suffered severely with this national disaster. So there has been a trading between Sudan and South Sudan. Unity State, we have one of the corridors that comes from Sudan, and from the other part of the south as well. Our economy was a little bit booming, but abruptly it has been challenged by this disaster. As we speak now, we don't have roads. We are not connected. We are disconnected completely from even the counties of the state. We could not reach our counties. The only road that we try to maintain is from Bentiu to Unity Oil Field, but now this road has been also cut off. So we have a huge population, not less than 400,000 inside Bentiu town, just there, sieged by water, no ways of connectivity between the counties, let alone the other state of South Sudan. So our situation has changed dramatically. So we are not talking of economy, but we are talking of humanitarian assistance. Our people has become totally dependent on assistance because we don't have dry land for cultivation. We don't have the basic infrastructure at the county level. We also lost all of this. We don't have schools. schools are submerged. The PACCs that were there at the counties are also submerged. So people now have moved into the capital city, which is Bentiu, and others, like I said before, have moved into other neighboring states. So this is our situation. We are not in a position to talk of economy. We are just talking of assistance that
Yes, Honorable, you are not in a position to talk about the economy. You wanted to talk about assistance.
Yes.
But the South Sudanese, when they hear that this is Honorable Dr. Joseph Monytuil Wejang from Unity State, what comes to the mind of the South Sudanese is Unity State is one of the producing states where the oil is.
I agree.
And this whereby South Sudanese will be like, maybe the economy will start from Unity State. Maybe the well-being of people of Unity State through the oil. So can you say maybe the oil is not giving honey economy well-being, or is not contributing to the economy of people of Unity State?
Yes, that is when things are going normal. With the oil that, our oil has been shut down during the crisis. Just of late, the oil operating companies started resumption of production. The resumption of the oil production has started in a very low pace. Now, when they are in the progress of adding more wells into the production, comes the issue of flooding. Flooding has taken most of the oil wells. As we speak now, most of the wells are underwater. So the production is almost very low. So where should this this economy come from when there's no oil that brings us the revenue, the needed ones? So it was our hopes that with this oil being produced in our state, it should be a machinery to change the livelihood of our people. But unfortunately, this is the situation where we are now.
So can you say maybe the refinery is not reaching Juba? And why?
Let me tell you this. Refinery has been constructed there, and I'm quite sure there was something wrong with the feasibility studies. When you are putting that very important installation like refinery, you would first want to know where are you going to sell these produce of that refinery? Where are you going to store these products? These things are not there. We don't have roads to take the fuel that has been refined from the refinery. We don't have the depot that can accommodate whatever was refined from our crudes. So there has been a lot of technical issues that people need to look into the feasibility studies of this refinery, because you have refinery, you need to take this one to markets. You go to markets, you need roads. And these things are not there. So this is our dilemma. Refinery is there, but it is as if we don't have refinery.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable. And we're still on the issue of economy, and we cannot leave out Warrap State. And Honorable Governor Manhiem, Malek, maybe after the Governor's Forum, you might also find your way going into the state. And the people are waiting you in Warrap State, and they wanted to know how their life is going to improve when they receive you in the state. So what are you going to do to improve the economy of Warrap people? And also, will you say you're not going to contribute into the sufferings of people of Warrap when it comes to economy, because people believe that the leaders are the one contributing to the hardship of this country? What are you going to do to making sure that maybe you will not be part of what the citizens are talking about?
Thank you. In fact, it's not about what to do, but it is about informing the viewers and the public that there is a disaster in Warrap State in terms of natural disaster, like floods, and it began with the droughts. This is all about climate change. We have never experienced something like this a few years back. It has started this year with the droughts. So people did not cultivate. And when people tried 2-3 times, and there nothing was germinating completely, whatever seeds people has, they put them down, nothing came out because of no rain. Rain began in June, late June to July. And by that time, there is nothing can germinate. That is one thing. Then, after the droughts, immediately the rain began intensively. It rains and the floods came out also and destroyed whatever little that was germinate. Just little, few farms that were able to manage the drought were also flushed out by water. So the first thing is to inform the public and my people of Warrap and the whole world, or maybe the humanitarian organizations that are available in the country and the leadership of the country, that Warrap state is experiencing a terrible climate change and a humanitarian disaster in terms of economic, because we rely on our agriculture. There's nothing much. We don't produce anything at the moment. But that will not also, after informing people about the situation in Warrap, that will not stop there. Of course, there's where somebody like me who is heading the state, who is the governor, will have to move down there and try to move and think of how we can prepare ourselves now so that we are able to mobilize the humanitarian organization through our SRRC in Juba and all the leadership of the country, and inform them that there is an issue in Warrap that need to be addressed as soon as possible, so that some intervention are made in terms of food and health facilities, health services and so on, because everything has been destroyed by the flood. And after that, what I have in mind is that when I go down there and I'm able to arrest the security situation, because security situation also contributed to normal economic development. Because if there are fears between the community in terms of conflict, they will not be able to prepare their farms for the next season. So after getting down there, I wanted to make sure that people prepare themselves now, because water will subside in this coming month, in December. So water will go, and that one will not make us to wait. I have to go and move across Warrap State. I will tour Warrap State with all the MPs and my cabinet to inform the people that we need to prepare. We don't want to give up. We need to prepare our farms. Maybe next year will be better than this year, so that we concentrate on agriculture, on farming, in order to address this hunger next year. So this is one of the things that I'm going to focus on: the agriculture, the preparedness of the community, create awareness about the situation and how we can survive. And after that, we will also talk to the government in Juba to support us, because most of the roads are destroyed by water, including the small bridges are completely finished. So there is no movement, and that need to be addressed by the national government, so that at least we are helped to rehabilitate our roads, so that our counties are accessible.
Okay,
So,
Honorable Governor, this will bring us to talk about the issues of climate change, and talking about floodings as a natural calamity in South Sudan, and you are attending the 6th Governors Forum, which is your first Governors Forum to attend it. What do you think these 6 Governors Forums going to contribute into you as the governor and the people of Warrap in addressing the issues of climate is like flooding in your area?
In fact, this is my first time in my life to attend governors forums. And what I have realized, what I have learned there, is a place where all the government of the 10 states, the leaders of the country, come together to share their situation, the country's situation, including the states. And then from there, they come up with a recommendation of what to do, how they can address those problems. So what I learned there as my first time was that everybody was reporting the situation of their region or of their state. And after that, they also inform the leadership and also share the situation with the colleagues about the challenges that are being faced, like what we have just discussed. And then people also come together and brainstorm and come up with a devised way of early preparedness for these disasters to be addressed. So this is what I learned here, because that is my first time. And now with these forums, I'll be able now to also through my state, I'll be able also to share my situation, whatever I'm discussing with you. I will also report it to the leadership and to all my colleagues, the other governors and the chief administrators of our 3 regions, and maybe have what we call discussing the situation and maybe think of how we can address them. And also the leadership will now be also joining us and help our state of how to calm down this situation.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Kuol. Let's hear from you how Abyei administrative area is handling the issues of climate change in the country, and how are you partnering with the neighboring state in helping them in mitigating the issues related to floodings and conflicts?
You see what happened this year? Rains were very heavy. They used to rain heavily and for long hours, many hours. These made abnormal flooding from the rains. Most of our flooding in northern Baragazal used to come from Central Africa and from Darfur, water coming from there. These rivers make flooding, but this year was exceptional. Rains, very heavy rains, and it can rain for 6 hours. This really made, it was a real change in the way the rain used to rain in northern Baragazal, and it really affected most of the people who are living on the river banks. Most of them were displaced. And we have 3 rivers in Abyei area. You have the river Kir, you have the river Nyamora, and you have the river Ngol. All the people who are living about these rivers were all displaced. And as I told you earlier, there was a double displacement. Those who were displaced by the war in Agog, and they came and stayed on the river banks, but later on they were displaced. In fact, we reported the big flooding to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and RRC in Juba here, and they immediately formed an assessment team that went to Abyei area and to the other areas of South Sudan. They assess what has taken place, and in fact, the harvest this year was very poor. The harvest is very poor, so people need humanitarian food support. This is one. Another one, people can also resort to horticulture. You need water pumps so that during the dry season you cultivate vegetables. So FAO and other partners are helping us with this. Seeds, vegetable seeds, agricultural tools, so that there is people can cultivate vegetables that can generate income to them. There is also a very positive project introduced recently to the IDPs, including the IDPs from from Unity State. Unity State, Mayom County, was terribly hit by the flooding. And we welcomed something going to 2,000 families. 2,000 families are now living with us in Abyei town. We have accommodated them there, and they are living with us. So IOM introduced a very interesting project. They are training IDPs women and host community women. They give 50 to IDPs and 50 to the host community on a small business income generating activities.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Yeah, thank you so much for coming to SSBC, and we feel like to have more time to discuss a lot of issues, but because of time, the airtime on TV, and also giving you time to go and do other activities, I want just to wind up the discussions, and I want Honorable Dr. Joseph Monytuil to respond a little bit about what we have just been discussing in 1 minute, and then we come summarizing the things. So your response in 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you so much. Once again, as we started our discussion from, we started with the security issues and issues to do with peace and economy and the climate change that has affected severely the entire South Sudan. And I think this is an opportunity for the state to come and reflect what they have experienced and what they are facing down there. Let me just say something about the mitigation of the flood. Flood mitigation, now we are just using this very primitive way of constructing dikes and all this, but this is not a long-lasting solution. We need kind of long-lasting solutions. We need an expertise on this issue. We need the issue of dredging was misconceived in Juba here. When people talk of dredging of our rivers and all this, people went as far as saying things that are not in existence. We would really love to conserve our environment for our people. But when we let our people die, then who is going to use this environment? So from here, I add my voice to the National Cabinet that has passed the resolution of cleaning the rivers. They avoided using dredging, but all the same. So we need this one to be put into action as soon as possible so that we save lives of our people that have become very devastated, and we want to rescue them, and we want to rescue their lives.
Okay, thank you so much, and I want just to start with you, the final remark, and you can't do the humanitarian work as governors and officials of this country to save the life of South Sudanese without partners and humanitarian actors. When we talk about flooding and all this, that means you have partners to work with, humanitarian actors to go on the ground. I want each of you to mention in maybe a few words, 1 minute, and your last message. What are you doing for the humanitarian actors who have inaccessibility to come to your area, your state, and deliver the services that maybe the government cannot afford, but through their support as humanitarian actors, they can save the life of South Sudanese. So let me start with you. Do you say it in Unity State there is humanitarian accessibility, and if they need protection, do you grant them protection?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank and appreciate our humanitarian community. They have contributed immensely in resolving most of the issues in the state, and we actually form a team. We've been working as a team in the state together with these humanitarian actors, namely, if not all of them, starting from UNMIS, WFP, and IOM. They have contributed positively in challenging the flooding and mitigation, helping the IDPs that were displaced. So I'm very thankful to them.
Okay, thank you so much. Honorable Manhiem, maybe your last words.
Well, I want to tell people of Warrap State that I am your new governor, and I don't want to be received with the conflict. I want to call for calm, because we cannot face all this. We cannot face the climate change, the disaster, humanitarian disaster, and again kill ourselves. I want people of Warrap State to refrain from fighting themselves and think about their life. I want them to stop fighting. Whatever is happening, let them refrain from it immediately. And I'm calling also the intellectuals from Warrap, brothers and sisters, our daughters and sons, our uncles, and our MPs, our intellectuals in Juba, to support me. I want them on Saturday next week, or probably on the between the 3rd and 4th, before I leave for Warrap. I need to meet with them so that we share the situation of our home, if we love Warrap. If people who are here are proud of Warrap, where our president come from, is a shameful. I want them to come and meet with me, give me the mandate, and also advise me of what I can do to help our people, because that's where our mothers and our ancestors' lands is. So I need them to meet me on Saturday. We have a consultative meeting. They support me, and we move together to home so that we stop the internal conflict and think about helping our people during this disaster.
Thank you so much, Honorable Governor. And Honorable Administrator Kuol, your last words in less than 1 minute.
You see, for you to achieve sustainable peace and sustainable development in Abyei area, you need to settle the final status of the Abyei area. Final status of Abyei area, so that either Abyei become South Sudanese or become Sudanese, and definitely Abyei become South Sudanese. So I'm urging our national government. I congratulate them for the step they have taken towards settlement of the final status of Abyei area, but double effort so that the final status of the area is resolved. One. Second, and I'm appealing to all the national and international organizations to come with the humanitarian support to the flood-affected and war-affected IDPs in Abyei area. And not only to the international organizations and national organizations, even Abyei in diaspora. Abyei in diaspora, my message to you is that this year is going to be an exceptional year. There will be a hunger in the area. So please, you support your families, and may God bless you.
Thank you so much. And to our viewers, thank you so much for following these editions of this special interview right here on SSBC. I've been your host, Majur Cholkor, and in this edition, we have been talking about the issues of peace and security, economic reform and climate change, governance and rule of law, in which we have not touched a lot on the issues of governance and rule of law, but we hope to having my guest next time, even if not in this edition, but in other programmings of SSBC. And up to this far, thank you so much, Honorable Dr. Joseph Monytuil, the Governor of of Unity State, for making it to SSBC. Thank you so much, Manhiem Malek, the Governor of Warrap State, for making it to this edition, and Honorable Kuol, the Chief Administrator of Abyei Administrative Area. Thank you so much. And for me and the technical team, we do say thank you so much for following this edition. And remember, the 6th Governors Forum is still ongoing at Freedom Hall here in Juba, which started yesterday, and it is still going on. And the technical team, we do say enjoy the rest of the program coming up right here on SSBC. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Photo.